Is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have our second weekend of the Call of Duty League, and we have uh, four matches that I want to talk to you about today. I'm going to be breaking these down into individual videos, so feel free to watch the other videos as soon as they come out on these different matchups. We have the Seattle Surge and the London Royal Ravens, Florida Mutineers, Minnesota Rocker, New York Subliners, LA Guerrillas, and Toronto Ultra. The Atlanta FaZe playing today on Friday. Their Seattle Surge is playing at 2 p.m. my time, Central Time. So we're going to be breaking down the picks for this matchup today. Definitely going to be a great matchup, and as we can see here, the odds are favored slightly towards the Seattle Surge. We're going to see obviously the Seattle Surge, hasn't been performing too well as of the last two games, but I'm pretty sure they're hungry to get a victory, and I think that it might come against the London Royal Ravens. However, I do think it's going to be a Game 5 type situation. So let's look at the prices on DraftKings first, then we'll move on to Price Picks. So as you guys can see here, we have all the players that are going to be playing or participating in this matchup. We have Nasty, Paul X, Asum, and Zero on the side of London Royal Ravens, and we have Sib, Pred, Mac, and Accuracy on the side of the Seattle Surge. The odds were actually favoring London Royal Ravens, and I do feel like Seattle Surge is going to get the win here, though. I do feel like they're hungry for a win. They've played twice already, and they haven't been able to. As you can see here, the prices is going from cheapest to most expensive. Zero at 6,200. Honestly, he's been doing good. So that price at 6,200 might be a little bit too cheap for Zero. If you want to go contrarian and you think that London Royal Ravens is going to beat Seattle, definitely look at Zero. Look at his stats on pages like breakingpoint.gg or lostful.gg, and look at his stats. As you can see here in his game log, he did really good. 65 kills against LAG last matchup with only 48 deaths at 6,200. He could be a really contrarian play that could benefit you in all your lineups if he, even remotely does okay. Accuracy at 7,000. I really never trust accuracy. I always feel like he ends up in this range of 70 fantasy points or 80 fantasy points unless Seattle gets like a 3-0. That's usually when accuracy, uh, you know, goes off or goes over 100 fantasy points, which is really where we'd want to see him if we'd want to pay up that for him. Mac at 7,400 I think is a little bit better because as you can see here, in a loss against Boston, he posted up 118 fantasy points at 7,800. So that's a decent return. That's actually a really good return. At $400 less, and in my opinion, a game where I think they're going to win, Matt could be a good play here as well. Asum at 7,800. He did really good last matchup against the LAG. He posted 100 fantasy points in that matchup where he was 7,400, 7,200 the matchup previous to that against New York Subliners. And I definitely see how he's too cheap right now. I feel like he's too cheap. He's like an 8K player in my opinion. As you can see here, he posted 73 kills, and I do believe like he's going to try to duke it out with Seattle. That could be a good play too. Honestly, everybody's looking good except I think Paul X at 8,200. I feel like he showed in the first game against New York Subliners that he wasn't really having too much of a good game. He came back a little bit, but still at 8,200, 97 fantasy points doesn't cut it for me. Um, at 104 fantasy points, it's okay, right? Because it's breaking that 100 fantasy point mark. But at the price that he's at right now, 8,200, he would have to break that 100 point fantasy mark for me to, consider taking him. Pred at 8,600, I feel is a really good play. If you see how many kills he's gotten, 82 kills, 81 kills on either game. High kills, obviously in this other game against Boston, he had a lot of deaths, which is not good to see, at least in DraftKings, right? And Prize Picks is a different story. But at 9,800, for both matches, he got cut over 1,000K of his price. Now, this is crazy because just because he might as well have reached 100 fantasy points here, but he didn't quite by 2 points, right? That doesn't justify dropping his price by 1,200. dollars. That's crazy. Now he's in the same range as a lot of other players at cheaper price, and you know what his ceiling is: 80 kills every freaking matchup. So Pred is honestly the value of the match here on the Seattle side. Sib 9,400. Looks like they added more money on Sib's side. They gave him a lot more salary, about $800 more, even though he posted 82 fantasy points the last game against Boston. But as you can see here against LAG, 176 fantasy points. If you would have had this guy on your king spot, you would have been a millionaire. Um, but as you can see here as well, 108 kills, 57 deaths. That's important. Not only did he get 108 kills, which is crazy, he only got half the deaths. That's actually the rare part. So that means he got to retain a lot of his points, as you can see. So yeah, Sib I know wants to go out and duke it out. I feel like Sib and Pred in the same team would actually be pretty sick. Um, Obviously, it would hurt your bankroll, but it would be pretty sick to have both of these guys in the same team and have them go to Game 5 and just see the points rack up. But with that being said, the team position Surge at 3,200, London Royal Ravens at 2,600. This could be a value play. Honestly, both of these are priced pretty good in my opinion. 3,200 isn't that much, and London Royal Ravens, who are the favorites, definitely at 2,600. Definitely, that is not bad. That could actually yield you a lot of points if you wanted to go contrarian, or technically not contrarian, but if you just roster London Royal Ravens uh, team position, you could probably do good. Obviously, in the king position, Sib is going to cost you 14, and Nasty is going to cost you 15. Nasty at 10,000, I believe, is one of the most expensive fantasy players right now. He dropped a dud last matchup, but as you can see, um, the first game he posted 138 fantasy points at 9,200 with 66 kills. Uh, yes, he's a high kill player, but he also gets a lot of deaths. So I don't know if I'm comfortable paying this price for him. I think that might not be so accurate for him. But yeah, with that being said, my favorite plays here are Pred on the Seattle side and Asim on the London side. Let's go over a couple of the props I got here for some of these matches. You can see here Pred, Mac, maps 1, 2, 3, maps 1, 2, 3. They got Mac at 50. They got Pred at 54. I know I'm going to take that one because that one's going to hit for sure, I believe. Um, we got, let's see, let's go down to, yeah, Pred at map 1, 23 kills. Mac at map 1, 20 kills. Yo, these got to hit. These got to hit because honestly, I feel like Seattle's going to come out hard today. Pred map 2, 7 kills. I think this is going to go over. I think Seattle's going to go over on everything. I do feel like they're going to come out trying to win. Map 3. Uh, yeah, I don't know about map 3s because I need to go back to see the control stats. But honestly, if you guys want to make informed picks for price picks, just head over to breakingpoint.gg and you can see the stats for the teams, and you can see what maps they veto or what maps they don't like playing in and what maps they have the most victories in currently. Seattle has a 2 wins on Hardpoint, 1 in Fortress, 1 in Hotel, and they have 2 losses in Fortress Search and Destroy. So take those into account. Definitely some good matchups here that I would like to go over to. Obviously, there's not a lot to talk about when it comes to breaking down prize picks, unless it's with stats like the stats that you'd find at breakingpoint.gg or lostful.gg, which is another nice website to use. Definitely use those as resources. And with that being said, we're going to break down the next matchup, which is Florida Mutineers against the Minnesota Rocker in the next